Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Connect Show. I am one of your hosts today, Kim Knock. We are on episode number 9 of season 4. Happy Halloween. I don't know what that is. Someone's taken over our system. Happy Halloween, everyone. Today, we are diving into the extraordinary world of small business owners. They're not always recognized for their efforts, but we can't wait to share their incredible stories with you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene Osterling, the creative mind behind A Stupid Good World, author of A Pinhole of Light, creator of Where You're At, Stupid Good Food. I don't sing. Don't ask. We will have to end the show right now if I do that. Anyway, so small business owner, entrepreneur, visionary, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. So Halloween, the beloved holiday of ghouls, goblins, and witches, provides a unique and thrilling opportunity for small businesses to shine. As the leaves change color and the air becomes crisp, small enterprise across the country eagerly embrace the spirit of this bewitching season. Sitting with us today, we are excited to have with us 2 of our favorite business owners, Dottie, aka Rosie the Riveter, and Mary, aka the Cat.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dottie Posto, and I am very excited to be here. A little background on me. I am a leadership development coach. I am the coach who, when you've got that person who's gotten just a few too many does not play well with others on their report card, I come in and I make them the leader or the employee that everyone wants to work with. And so, I've done that with organizations where we had some fist pounding and some overpowering and some people shutting down, and within 6 months we had them they achieved they went over and above their metrics. They blew out their goals in 6 months. So it was a lot of fun. And Mary, this is your first time hosting with us today. Thanks. It's great to have you here. Can you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm so excited to be here today, and especially on Halloween. We were having a little dance party before, and I love to dance too. Slightly like Dottie, I am a leadership and business coach. People call me the mindful business coach, and that is because I focus on emotional intelligence and conversational intelligence to help people really understand what's going on in their world so they can relate to other people. And then those relationships turn into clients, which is a really important part, the business part of everything. And then also helping people become better leaders, as Dottie was talking about. As part of all of that, I also facilitate conversations. And that is really where I see transformation so much of the time. I've found that people really don't make any changes until they can understand through personal experience why the change is necessary. And I'm just so glad to be here today. So thank you to all of you.
Amazing. Excited to have you.
Great. Well, and in each episode of the Connect Show, we feature small business owners. Beyond entrepreneurs, they're risk takers, dreamers, and community builders. Starting before dawn, brewing the coffee, this is water, drinking water, and diving in wholeheartedly, they strive to create an impact. Join us today and witness their inspiring journey on our show.
They constantly seek ways to improve and innovate. They're not content with the status quo and are always on the lookout for new ideas and opportunities. The hardworking small business owner understands that staying competitive requires adaptability and forward thinking. So in each and every show, we get to know these small business owners, and we want you to hear their stories as well.
Move on to today's show. We want to give you a little background about the Connect Show. John and Tracy started in 2021, 2 full years ago, in a small studio. The Connect Show is now on its 4th season. On Halloween, over 100 episodes. We have some new events and we would like to share them with you today.
The first event is our new Connect networking event. I think John has a flyer for us that he might bring up. We are having this networking event the third Wednesday of the month. Our first event is on Wednesday, November 15th, the day before my birthday, and is called Connect Giving.
Your birthday's when?
November 16th.
Mine's
For
12th.
Connect Giving.
Yes, the Scorpios.
High fives over there. No, that's okay.
I love the love.
I love
November
it.
birthdays. Woo.
So for Connect Giving, we ask that everyone bring a dish to pass. Who does not love being creative in the kitchen? And I just can't wait to see what you will all be bringing. The Connect networking events are different in that we will always have a stage element and a mini show. You won't want to miss these once a month events starting next month.
What kind of stupid good foods are we going to have?
I'm thinking I like to make caprese skewers.
Oh,
So like a
Could be
caprese
the
salad, but in a
stupid good
skewer.
guinea pig
hey,
platform.
I love it. But that's not the only new event we have. Every first Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central, we're holding a host forum on Zoom. On Zoom. I just made it up. On Zoom. Anyone, including our very own hosts like myself, can attend and learn hosting tips. We want to help everyone grow as our show is growing as well.
Then on the second Wednesday of the month at 11 a.m., we have a forum for anyone who wants to be a guest on the Connect Show with John and Tracy. We have information for all of these events on our main site called connectmedia.live. RSVP for any of these events today.
Speaking of guests and hosts, the guests and hosts of the show are all volunteers. If you would like to be a guest or a guest host, like Mary is today, and I am actually, I don't host every week, then the process is really quite simple, and we can teach you all of the steps. The benefits include getting in front of the camera, which for some people is really intimidating, and becoming skilled as an interviewer, and best of all, promoting your business. And another benefit, if you're not like Charlene, you get pie at the end.
Wow.
Please contact us to get your spot on the show.
We got to get a pie for Charlene.
No, there's no frosting on pie.
Oh,
I don't blame
okay.
you.
So now we know what to bring. Something with
I'm
frosting.
just going to bring you a whole container of frosting.
Will you?
I'll make it.
We
That
don't
sounds
even
like
need
a plan.
spoon.
And while the Connect Show is a show created by volunteers, we are always looking for support to keep our show growing. Sponsorship on the Connect Show is a great way to get your business seen and support your peers. It can be a commercial, plugs in our newsletters via social media, and on our website. If you are interested in being a sponsor, please contact John or Tracy at info@theconnectshow.com.
Thank you to our hosting sponsor, Expansive Workspace, where we broadcast the Connect Show every week, live every Tuesday, 10 a.m., right from Studio A5. Expansive is a great place to work and a wonderful community to be a part of. In addition to Expansive, we have many other local businesses that help support the Connect Show, and we want to thank each and every one of you for supporting our mission.
And we really need to give thanks to John, AKA Mr. Connect Show, NBA. Like, this guy goes overboard. It's his passion, it's his purpose. He does all the video work and editing that goes on behind the scenes. John also has a new community called Mind Body Abundance that you can see more on the link on the screen. John has a quick video to show the Mind Body Abundance world.
As always, we are very thankful that you have come to watch the Connect Show. If you have a topic that you think we should be discussing, please email us at ideas@theconnectshow.com.
Today, we are so excited to welcome our guest, Shannon Ishizaki.
The Connect Show is better when it's interactive. So add your comments to the chat. Tell us where you're watching us from. All the good things. We want to see it. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. It's easy to find us. John or Tracy working behind the scenes will bring your comments up and add them to the conversation. You might even get shown on screen. It's a great opportunity to get expert advice to help your business grow, especially if you have questions for our guests.
Speaking of growing your business, these business owners are not just growing their businesses, but helping the community at large. Thank you again for last week's guests, Diane Reiner and Scott LeBeau, helping out small businesses by finding out how to cut costs and getting on the same level playing field.
So our quote of the day for today is from Andrew Stanton, who is a filmmaker. Storytelling is joke telling. It's knowing your punchline, your ending. It's knowing that everything you're saying from the first sentence to the last is leading to a singular goal, and ideally confirming some truth that deepens our understanding of who we are as human beings. The greatest story commandment: make me care. Please, emotionally, intellectually, aesthetically, just make me care. Again, Andrew Stanton.
Oh, that's a great quote. You know, I have to say, he's so exactly right on.
A number of the things that I've done before, I was a journalist first. So as a writer in those circumstances, you're telling a story in a very short, compact sort of situation. And then as a coach, I often coach people through a business meeting or a pitch meeting. And one of the things we talk about is, if you're going to tell that story about what you did for a client, you need to know why you're telling that story. You need to know where you're going before you even start. And that's what this makes me think about. Is
I think
knowing
that's
where
a
you're
great
going.
dissection of the quote.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Joke telling. I like the storytelling is joke telling though, because you have to tell it with some. I guess I'm just kind of looking at that like it might be interesting to you, but you have to put something in it that makes it interesting to everybody else. It doesn't
Right.
necessarily have to be a joke, but maybe something a little interesting that's going to pull people in. And like you said, if you're talking about, you know, past clients or a case study or something, you have to put something of interest in there that other people can resonate with.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
And I think the other part of it is that it's what do they care about?
mhm.
Because
That's the most
oftentimes as
important part,
business
yeah.
owners, we talk about what we think and what we care about and what we're passionate about.
Yep.
And really the punchline is, what's the result that our customers, clients are going to get? What is that result?
Well, and
Why do they care? What, you know?
I love that you did that in your introduction. You told us what the result was for your client. You gave us the punchline.
6 months of craziness, but hey, it turned
you
out
go.
pretty damn good.
It was a little crazy. It had been crazy for a while for them.
I think the big thing people miss with that interconnectedness and bringing business into the real world and the storytelling aspect is, you have to know you matter. You have to know you're enough. You have to be opening your toolbox, picking out your courageous tool and going, this is what I'm purposed to do. Like, this is what I'm passionate about. How can I draw people in? And there's so much truth behind the experiences in life. And so many experiences are funny.
Right.
And
But
even
they're not all funny too,
no,
right?
they're not. But how many times have you experienced something at the moment that isn't, but then you look back on it and you really have to laugh?
It shows you that you really matter though. Like you made it
Oh
through
yeah,
it. You
right.
made
That's
it
what
through
I'm saying.
it.
Like,
Yeah,
humor is a bridge to so many things.
absolutely.
Yeah, I absolutely
You can draw
agree.
someone in with humor and then drop the anti-punchline on them, drop the bomb that's going to go like, oh my gosh. So they felt you with the humor, but then the empath takes over, and then they can like relate to something they've done or something they've experienced.
Yeah.
Charlene always has a way of doing this to me, you guys. I don't know if you know this, but I just had like a moment in the car that is just like, there's a song and it's kind of like my theme song, and it's like, no, you freaking matter. Rock on. You know, like you matter. Don't forget that you matter, because you have something for everybody.
I have
So
a camera.
right.
I have a camera in your life.
Yeah,
Follow
I think you do.
everywhere.
I think you do, because there's something. I'm not really sure
she's
what
always
it
might.
is.
Does that come with the
Right.
contract?
Right.
I'm a little
No.
worried about that.
No, not at all.
Oh my God, she does
The
it to
one
me
thing
every
that's-
week.
The one thing that's coming up for me that I'm going to be thinking about today, because it just with the storytelling, is as a business owner, we've got stories that we need to let go of,
Right.
and we've got stories we need to tell.
Right.
And how do we not blend those? And I was kind of reminded of that yesterday. Somebody was saying to me about an assignment on a program I'm in for, just a week-long challenge thing I'm doing. And they're like, is there a way you can make that not so harsh, not so negative? Because a lot of the people I work with are harsh and negative. And how can I help people see it in a different way to make it more approachable? And it was just, okay, what's the story I'm bringing behind that might be influencing that?
That's a great
Something
point.
to think about.
That's a great point. And
Absolutely.
you really do deal with this stuff, especially when you're dealing with leaders that you have to change. And someone could have been in that position for 25, 30 years. And they're like, hell no, I've been doing just fine. No, you haven't. I'm here for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, they think they're effective.
Yeah.
That's what somebody told me just Friday. I was talking to someone. They're like, yeah, my boss thinks he's effective.
Yeah.
And he's
Eff-
not.
And maybe effective at running people out the door. They might make their
Yes.
dollars, but it doesn't mean that you're building
Yeah.
a corporate love with
Yeah.
everybody together. So
Yeah, they bring in the numbers, but the people, they're running people over in the process.
super good points. I love when we dissect those quotes. That was a big one to take.
That was a
That
big
was the
call.
longest quote I've ever seen in my
I
whole entire
know.
life.
That's a long
And I
time.
write quotes.
God, I love it.
So let's talk about the evolution of change this week. So I guess I've never really talked about mine.
Do it.
And so the evolution of change came to me. First of all, what happens is I go into stillness or meditation, and then I'm given messages. So then I get up, and because I see things backward, I have a pattern dyslexia with sight and with like literally things I see, but things I read as well. I transpose so much. So I get up and I just let the pen go to work. I don't have a vision of what's coming out of the pen. The artwork comes, and Evolution of Change was supposed to be the blog on my website. And then this opportunity presented itself. And so I went out to find people who opened a business and realized it was their purpose. So the evolution of change is each person's point to where they had that epiphany and they went, oh my gosh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing the rest of my life. Like, this isn't just a paycheck. So mine ironically happened through writing Pinhole of Light, which is a book that surfaced through me in a really deep part of my 30s. I'm sitting in Miami with a broken foot, feeling sorry for myself. And the pen was like tireless will. So it came out, I posted it in front of me. I cried my last tear, and I had this recall back to age 11. So a Pinhole of Light is me at 11 years old, sitting on a table in a cafeteria in a very busy environment, seeing one little pinhole of light scratched out of a Coke machine. And when I went there, the whole room disappeared. So everything that dynamically was going on around me went away. And I'm sitting in this place of stillness, of nothing, of just this black. And I remember looking around and then feeling my mom grab my arm and say, I said, we're going home now. And so whoosh, I was thrown right back into life again. And in my 30s, having this moment, boom, I was the 11-year-old sitting in front of a pinhole of light. So my evolution of change has been predominantly through listening to that internal voice, which a lot of times is my inner child. And now doing the inner child work, it's kind of amazing. We were challenged last week to journal. We had to pick out a journal our 7-year-old inner child would have picked out, which is so opposite of what I would pick out now. And then we had to write with the dominant hand, how are you and what do you need? And with the non-dominant, we had to write the answer to those questions. And my inner child and I looked at each other and I asked her, how do you feel? And she said, whole.
Wow.
So it's like I had reconnected. And I said, what do you need right now? And she said, love. And the shaman said, if they say love or one word answers, ask them more. And so this evolution came with, after love, she said that I needed to realize that she's me and I'm her and we're one, and how powerful we are together. So that whole process and the evolution of, now I'm reverted back to the 12-year-old superhero cape wearing self, and it shows there's my business. Like, that's what I do, is give adults permission for themselves to play again, because it's like the evolution of change is, when my business surfaced, I realized like every soul walking around in a body on earth was blueprinted with a legacy and a purpose. And only we can serve that purpose. We might have people who come along, like the two of you do similar things, but there's a way you can work together. It's like when you let go of the ego and you honor the soul, your evolution of change happens, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting on it. I'm totally sitting on it. And then you let go, and then all of a sudden money floods in abundance on all levels, from the emotional love standpoint to feeling love for the first time from the inside out. And now you realize there's nothing outside of you you need. It's just everything you want. So like we talked about your evolution to change, and then going.
It's still going.
Yeah.
Like, and it's really, really, really changing. Like every day I'm going through a big change, right? But I'm focusing on bringing the right people in, doing the right thing, or so what I might think at the moment. But the biggest thing is defining my purpose, because I don't have my purpose completely defined. And I think that's okay not to have it.
Mhm.
I mean, at some point, we all want to find what that purpose is. And I am really working very hard to try to find that purpose and present my best self to others and to myself, because I take myself out of that equation all the time, and I need to put her back in there.
Yeah,
Like,
that's your.
she belongs, she
The inner
matters, it's
Yeah.
important. And that's one part that I think I've always been missing of it, is where do I fit into it? I always worry about everybody else, but now I'm focusing on myself. And as hard as it might be to face some of those demons, it's super freeing when you can let it go. Like, you're talking about using both sides of your brain at the same time on that little activity.
Yeah.
It sounds simple, but it's not. Like, you forced your brain to do something it's not normally meant to do.
Yeah.
But the release that you found from that's so beautiful.
I think that I'm a lot different than most people, because at a very early age, I knew I had to face the trajectory of my path with just me.
Yeah.
So at 25, I got out of the brutally abusive relationship and said, who am I? What makes me happy? And what's my purpose to serve? And now I'll be 52 in a week and a half. And it's like, I'm not stunted by not having all these other things. Or like, I look at all the paths and I'm like, there's so many dots that connect when you eliminate the emotion and go, oh my gosh, look at that experience. Now it's not, that was so traumatic. It's no, look at that experience I got to grow through.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't ever go through anything.
Well, and you guys are all getting to
Everything's-
watch me go
Yeah.
through this evolution of
It's amazing.
change right live as we're going.
Everything's here to serve us.
Yeah, everything,
Is here to serve us.
everything.
Do you guys have a specific evolution of change for yourself, or as we're wrapping this up?
Well, I do have to say that the universe will send it to you if you're listening. And I find that with all of my clients, that it does go back. And for most of them, it goes back to something in their childhood. And thank you, Charlene. It's just a wonderful discussion that we all just had on evolution.
We could have a whole show on
We
Talking
definitely
about
could.
that, I'm like chomping at the bit
I
here,
know,
like,
John,
okay,
you want-
this.
You want to say a quick word?
No, we need.
We need to keep moving, unfortunately, and we will go on to the quote of the day. When building your brand, what is the best way
to tell your story.
And I think we're going to wait to have that question of the day. With our first guest.
Oh, we will. That's great.
We're going
When
to
is
move on over to Heike. We are going to come back to that question. So
Awesome.
don't you
Thank you
worry.
so much. Heike.
So we have a special segment with a small business segment with Heike Heyman.
Hey, Mom.
I love her.
Awesome.
Heike's LinkedIn Insights. I help entrepreneurs and career changers take their LinkedIn profiles from blah to magnetic. Today, let's go over some tips for your profile's education section, where you list all of the schools you attended. Don't ignore that, even if your school is far behind you. You can include not only your name of the institution, but also start and end dates, which most people already have. But beyond that, you can include activities, societies, as well as a description of up to 500 characters. This could be relevant if you attended an institution that isn't particularly well known. Not everybody goes to Harvard, or has a specialty others wouldn't know about. So you can talk about the school itself or your own qualifications in more detail in this portion of your education section. And if you can tie that into your current role, more even the better. Another nice feature is that you can change the sequence of your educational institutions. That way, if your current career is more tied to a previous institution that you attended, let's say college instead of grad school, you can flip the sequence, since the most recent educational institution actually shows up way at the top of your profile, right under your banner. So just like with the other sections of your profile, your education section needs attention and should be kept up to date. If you need help with this or anything else related to LinkedIn, remember to connect with me on LinkedIn or find me on ideashare.com. Ideasharecoaching.com.
Thank you so much. We're just moving on through. We are bringing on Jessica Dragon, and
Yay, Jessica.
she has a brand new business event called Memorable Evening at St. Kate's, the Arts Hotel. It's taking place tonight. Welcome, Jessica, back to the show. We've had you before, which is amazing. Tell us a little bit more about the event taking place this evening.
Thank you so much, and I really appreciate being here. So I am a private equity investor, and I acquired a couple of meetup groups. And tonight we're going to have our first event for Milwaukee Socials at the St. Kate's Hotel. It's a happy hour. Yeah.
Amazing. So what is the event circled around? Is there any specifics or that you want to give to our audience today? What kind of target person are you looking for to come?
Well, I mean, it's just really, it's so hard being a business owner, having that balance between work and life, right? And I found this excellent opportunity to be able to experience Milwaukee and all the things that the community has to offer.
Absolutely.
So it's just a initial meeting so that I can see who some of my members are, but I've also invited some local business owners because I recognize that business owners might have events that they need bodies to come to. And Milwaukee Socials, they need something to do, and why not put them together and see what we can create. It's important to me that the group gets to visit business and business gets to help people, and that there's a beautiful relationship there.
I love that. I'm all about supporting local and bringing people together and networking, so it all falls in line together for me. I absolutely love it. How can people reach you and RSVP for the event tonight?
Go ahead and go on to meetup.com. You're going to look for MKE Socials. You can find the event there. It'll give you all the information that you need, and go ahead and RSVP. We'll be very happy to see you.
Amazing. And I think we'll get that information up on the screen for you if we can. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jessica. We really appreciate it. We wanted to give your event an extra special shout out. Ladies, do you have anything for Jessica before we move on to our next segment?
No, just thank you so much. And that space at St. Kate's is such a great place to have an event.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's spacious, and yeah, it's just absolutely a beautiful place to be.
I absolutely love it. So
Thank you.
we are going to move on in to our what a fun, exciting morning we're having here today. We are ready to welcome our guest, Shannon. While working as a publishing manager, look at all these books.
Yep.
Shannon found her passion for helping people bring their stories to life. As a stay-at-home mom, she took a leap of faith and started her own publishing company. That's so exciting because I'm going to have a need for her eventually.
Absolutely. 10 years later, she now manages 5 employees and dozens of freelance artists and editors for her 2 publishing companies, Orange Hat Publishing and 1016 Press.
Welcome to the show, Shannon. Before we find out a little bit about what Orange Hat Publishing does, we want to know your thoughts on our question of the day. We kind of had to skip over it. We had a little thing happen. So what we want to know is, when building your brand, I wonder what she's going to say. What is the best way to tell your story? Video, text, books. What do you think?
Well, I feel like that answer depends on who you're asking, because obviously if you're asking someone that their form of therapy is writing, or their form of way to reach their audience is writing, then obviously write it in a book. But if you're building a business that maybe your audience isn't readers, then you have to figure out, what is my voice and what is my brand that I want to bring to people to bring more clients in. So I think it's twofold. For me, when I started the company, it was very much building my brand and bringing people to me to be an honest ear, to be like, yes, I can bring your story to life, your words to life into. So it was a trust thing where you had to be like, I am a trustful person to tell your story. And then it leads to the author writing their words and letting me read it and put it out into the world to read.
Well, I'd love to hear a little more about that. So how did you do that? How did you present yourself so that people could understand that you could be trusted?
I think a lot of it just has to do with listening. My publishing house is kind of like a therapy office with a couch, and you come and you share your story, because so many people have such good writings that aren't out into the world when all these other books are being published. And it's only not, a lot of times it's often because of their name. They're a famous person, and then yes, they get a publishing deal with the big 5, but it's because it's a low risk on their investment, because those books will sell based on, Madonna wrote a book, terrible book, children's book, but of course she's still, it was bought up by a publisher.
Right?
Exactly.
Sure.
Yes.
Right.
And so then other people, we don't publish all memoirs or nonfiction, but a lot of people came to us during the pandemic, especially with their like, wow, okay, this really hit home with, I'm home at COVID. I want to share my story, and I don't want to leave this world without having shared it. So I think it does start with just really listening and really caring in a genuine way.
Absolutely.
I think one thing that I'm really, really working on, and I've talked about it a lot the last few weeks on the show, is your brand. And if you build your personal brand, a lot of people think their brand is their logo. Their brand is their business. that is not your brand. You have a personal brand and you have a business brand. And you really, if you build your personal brand and you build your credibility, the chances of you becoming successful in a situation like that, like you have to be a real you. People want you. They don't want your brand. They want the real you. And that's super important. And so many people miss that. And that is one of my purposes. I think I'm trying to help people focus on is, in a way, helping people focus on their purpose a little bit, because that helps build your brand. So
Absolutely. And a lot of authors that come our way, this is their purpose. They've like, I've always dreamed of publishing a book. And even if it's a children's book, nonfiction, fiction, and we have artists that they've always dreamed of illustrating a children's book. So I feel like I'm helping others find their path. That's always been my goal and drive in life, is to help other people where they say, oh, you know, I've always wanted to publish a book, but I don't know how to find an editor. I can find you an editor. You know, oh, if I've never found, how do you find an illustrator? I can find you an illustrator. Like, I'm not an editor, I'm not a writer, I'm not an illustrator, but I feel like I'm a matchmaker. I'm a connector. Like, here, this isn't that hard. We can do this.
Yeah.
We can do this, you know? And so we've published books that have changed people's lives. Like Terrence Lee Talley, he travels the nation talking about mental health, and he talks to high school students. Jesse Horn is a child he's autistic, and he travels the world speed stacking, you know, the cups. And he's so he shares a story about being autistic in here. And so that helps, you know, teachers like, oh, that's how your brain works. Like, tell me more, you know? And then we have, you know, a middle grade fiction, and it's just like exploding over the internet of like this amazing book, you know, just like a fantasy escapism, you know, and it's fun to watch these dreams come true for others, everyone that's involved in the process.
So what is the process when people come to you? Like, what? So let's say I love to write, and I come to you and I say, oh, I want to write a book, but I haven't really nailed down specifically what I'm going to do. What kind of, what's the process once they talk to you?
If you don't really have anything written yet, then my advice would be to find a writers group, find other writers that you could help, that will help critique your work and build that craft. Find a writer coach or a developmental writer. We have that on staff. So if you're like, oh, you know, exactly your situation. Or some people are like, I am not a writer, but boy, do I have a story to tell. We have ghostwriters too that can help with that. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, I actually am a writer, but I was just kind of saying, if you were that person.
Right.
And if you have all kinds of content, maybe some of it's business content and some of it is personal content, how do you help them sift through that?
Well, I think, my advice, if I heard that question, would be like, put both in, because like you said, your brand is you. And so readers want to know the real you. Like, unveil that curtain a little bit more and tell me how you failed or succeeded or turned a failure into a success and added that into the nonfiction advice of running a business. So yeah, you would work with an editor and a developmental editor to make that more organized and more palatable for the reader.
So if you have a person that journals every day, a lot of people do it. I'm working on it. It's becoming a thing for me now.
Nice.
Do you ever see them take those things and put those things into a book? Kind of like how Charlene said she did it with the Pinhole of Light, you know, started kind of going from something, but is that more of a memoir, or do you see people take like big nuggets out of their journal and turn it into something that everyone might want to read?
So I think that you have to think about your goal, because during the journaling process, I'm sure the goal isn't, this is for everyone to read.
Correct.
You know, so it's more of a therapeutic process. And then you have to think about, okay, well, maybe actually this could help benefit someone else reading this. And so then you have to think about your audience and then craft it so that it makes it more marketable for the general public. So we do have memoirs that are not, memoir isn't the right genre for it. It's more of like a narrative nonfiction of here's little nuggets in my life. And we have had that where it's like, there's no real chronological order to this, but gosh, is it a good read? Because it's like, I'm learning through all this author's bits of life. And a good writer would be able to thread that together so it does seem cohesive and it does have much more of an impact rather than randomness. You know, you got to put it all together in one cohesive novel.
Like Pulp Fiction.
Something like that.
In which case, you didn't have to put it all
Pulp
together.
Fiction. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, they're just connected.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so, go.
Go ahead. No, please do.
Okay, because I want to know more about the process. What do you see as the cycle for most of the people that come to you in terms of from the minute they reach out to the point when they've got a published book?
What does the process look like?
What is the cycle? Yeah, what's the cycle like, length of time?
Oh, so it's usually 9 to 12 month process because the marketing for books happens before the book even hits the bookshelf. Because people are on to the next big thing. So you want to create the buzz, talk about it, create a street team, create an ambassadors for your launch team. So we have a roadmap built out and we hand to the author to say, okay, month 1, this is what you need to be doing on social media. Month 2, this is what you need to be doing. Because a lot of times they're like, okay, I did all the writing, it's done, right? No, now the real
Just
work
started.
kind of starts. Like, unless you want all these books sitting in your living room. Like, we have to
Seriously.
we have to, you know, because with the advent of print on demand technology and Amazon publishing, so many people can publish literally overnight. So you have to have a formula to prepare for that launch before the book even hits.
Can I speak to that?
Yes.
Okay, so I,
As an author, yeah.
could not find someone. There were plenty of people out there that could publish it, but it was a minimum of like $10,000. And so here I have this sitting in front of me, and I'm like, "Hi, Aunt Betty. I know you're a retired English teacher, but do you have a red pen at home?" Yeah, and she did. She red inked it, and I had to go back in and go through it all again.
Yes.
And it's like, okay. So then I self-published on Amazon.
Yeah.
And people who knew me picked the book up, but then it stopped. And so then with the author copies I got, I would give them away. I would do events like the Mind Body Abundance Expo and start talking, and people would be like, "Oh, you should write a book." And I'm like, "Here it is." So then I would give them the book and see if they, put the dots together in their own life. But there's nothing else there.
Right.
So yeah.
Yes.
And it's
We have authors that are marketing people in their day job and they still struggle with selling books because there's 3.3 million books on Amazon. It's such a saturated market. So it's not like I'm going to say, work with me and you're going to quit your day job and sell these books. No,
Right.
It's work. It is a lot of work. And if you believe in your product, then it's a marathon, not a sprint. We have had one author that has quit his day job, Tailspin, and he was a history teacher, and now he's just traveling the nation speaking. And the publishing industry is a lot like the music industry, where it's like musicians make money at the concert, not by selling the CDs. So if you're a good presenter and you have a good book at the end of that presentation, there'll be lines and lines of people like, I want to buy your book. So it's a lot about getting that in front of people, but a lot of writers are introverts. And so that's super intimidating for people to be up in front of a crowd, but it's just the way the world is now and in order to sell the book. So yes, we definitely talk about group A all the time in the publishing industry. Like, okay, my family and friends and Aunt Betty bought my book.
yeah.
Aunt Betty, do you know anyone that you can tell about my book? So that's part of that whole 9-month process to get that group A to tell their group A, to tell group B, to help group C. And
So does Orange Hat help with marketing at all of that? Saying, hey, look at our new book that was just released. Like, do you guys utilize your company's followers as well and other writers to support each other?
our writing community is so supportive of each other. And yes, it's like a family. They become friends. They go to vendors together. I do have 2 houses I just want to point out. So Orange Hat is the main company where with children's books in middle grade, but 1016 Press is the novels, nonfiction, fiction. So we can help in the sense of, yes, we love these books. We want to tell everyone about it. But we're another group A. you know,
Sure,
Right.
sure.
and so like my Aunt Betty, my Aunt Terry will be like, okay, Shannon, I know you published, you know, your 100th book this year, you know, so I have to find other people. And so then I tell them the formula. It's not a secret. It's just like you got to have other people talk about your book and not just you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter
Yeah.
marketing, it's a collaborative effort.
Yes.
Everybody's really got to work together with it. Like I'd happily put a link on my website for Charlene for her book. Absolutely.
Yes.
1000%. And you got to sometimes use your network for that kind of stuff, and not in a bad way, but people I've worked with Charlene almost a year now,
Yeah.
on little different things, and now on the show. But yeah, why not? You utilize that
Right.
market, and you know, Charlene's book published by Amazon or published by Orange Hat, or
Yeah.
you know, here
It's a powerful
bring them all together.
book to
Yeah.
help you want to share with others. Absolutely.
And you could come on the Connect show
Yeah. there
and
you
talk
go.
about your book
Absolutely.
and then remind everyone
Yeah.
that you went to Orange Hat or 1016 Press
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get it published.
I'm going to have you ask this one, Charlene,
Oh.
just so we can.
What is one tip you give that you know will change another business if they implement it?
Oh, what did I answer on the sheet?
I
I don't remember.
Oh, geez.
Impromptu.
Yeah. I know at the beginning of the business. So I know when you read my bio, it said I've been in 10 years. It's almost 13. My daughter was 5 months old, and now she just turned a teenager. I was 30 at the time. I'm 42. At the beginning, I met with other publishers, and they said, I'm a one-woman show or I'm a one-man show. And I just thought, why? There's so many experts that you can lean on that you have to relinquish that control. Because as I said before, I'm not an editor. I depend on professional editors to continue my brand as a high quality product. So my advice in the beginning was always like, find the right people to be your right hand gal, and you will grow significantly. So for now, so then I grew and kept growing, and I was like, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start a bookstore. And I'm, the entrepreneur. I mean, just like, I'm going to do everything. And then I got tired.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, let's just focus on what really started this company.
It's working, right?
Exactly. Let's scale it back to just be like, you know what? I'm helping every person, the artists, the writers, their dreams come true. And that's what I want to get back to. So you asked me what do I want to do my 10-hour workday? I want to meet with authors, and I want to hear their story, and I want to read their books, and I want to share it with others.
Yeah, I think it's great. Find your purpose. And my favorite, collaboration, not competition. Find people to work with
Yes.
you, not against you.
Yes.
Absolutely. And don't think you have to be able to do everything.
Yes.
That is such an important thing for all business owners.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, finding ready to buy business leads is what small business owners dream of. Is that what you dream of, Kim?
No.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for, hey, at least I'm honest. You're going to get honesty from Kim. Sorry, guys.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, Shannon. Do you have an offer or an event or anything like that you can give out to the people?
Yeah, a lot of our authors and artists are local to Milwaukee. And so the Mequon Nature Preserve Center is hosting an event on December 5th at 11 o'clock a.m. And they're launching 2 books that we publish with Orange Hat, ABCs at Mequon Nature Preserve, and that's different bugs and insects, the ABCs of, yes, different bugs and things like that. And then 1, 2, 3 at Mequon Nature Preserve. So yeah.
That's awesome. And we do have a special page just for you on our website.
Thank
And I
you.
think you'll be seeing the link there, but it's basically theconnectshow.com/Shannon Ishizaki.
Perfect.
All right.
That was great. I am so glad that you got to say that. And I am absolutely connecting with Shannon. I have something for myself. My daughter wants to illustrate like there. So
Oh, I did her
Nice.
first. I
better go on someone.
hijacked her when she walked in the room and gave her my book. So you can get in line, sister.
I am just kidding. So we are about to bring up, you can absolutely stay right on up here today.
Oh my
We
goodness.
have our brand new pie segment. And this is our fifth pie today. We got to
that,
find
Dottie.
out. This
Thank
is from
you.
Sweet Connie's. Oh
gorgeous.
my, look at that crumble on top.
Do we need to do a little?
Peach strawberry.
Peach
Beautiful.
strawberry something. We'll leave that over there while they get cut up, right? So PIE stands for Partners in Excellence, and every week we will eat pie, spending time with our excellent partners. Today we have Shannon's going to hang out with us. We've got, look at all the different things going on in there. It's fabulous. We know everyone wants to have a piece of the pie. Come on, Heike. Yes, you belong on up here too. Don't miss out. John's coming. We're getting ready to
Everybody
end
eat
the
the
show
pie.
while we all eat pie. Thank you so much for joining us.
This one is for you.
All right, we're moving on. We got is Dottie camera ready? Or if not, we'll have Mary or Heike, are you mic'd?
Join us next week on our show for more pie and more amazing small business owners featuring Stephanie Oxley. Time to get our pool sticks out and hit some 8-ball.
Oh, she's fun.
Ooh,
I've
fun.
met her. She's fun.
Cool. Thank you everyone for joining us on our show today. Please help our community grow by reaching out and inviting one person who you feel will benefit from being a part of our journey. Please like and subscribe if you are on social. This little act goes a long way in our reach. And if you like something you saw, please comment. We will see you soon. Till next week.
Bye, everybody.
So long.
Go eat pie. Go eat pie. Eat the pie.
Mitch wants some pie. I see you, Mitch.
Ooh, 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 ooh.